Where are you, where you going? Hello, I'm back with another review. So today we're going to be doing the Loongsoul Girl body. It does not look the nicest because there are joints all over the place, but because there are joints all over the place, she can do basically anything that you want. So this is not a Loongsoul head, just so we know this is a Dollgirl 9. So I can't really tell you how Loongsoul heads work or anything, but just for head movement on this body, excellent head movement. She actually has so much head movement that if I move her too far, you can see down her neck, but that's besides the point, I guess. So for hybrid dolls on this body, highly recommended. Okay, so for shoulders, Loongsoul, sorry, have notches, or ridges rather, that go all the way up. So you can hold your arms in each of those ridges. She doesn't want to cooperate. There we go, okay. This arm is strung more tightly than her other one, but her arm will go into each of these notches, so you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about holding positions anywhere because her arm will hold itself in place, which is just the handiest thing ever. So again, not so functional on one side, but probably because of stringing. And then for elbows, it's a standard double jointed elbow. So without using the joint, obviously standard movement. With using the joint, which is, by the way, quite easy to pull out, she has complete double jointed movement. She can go all the way like this, which is nice. And her elbow does not get a giant, huge L, really, because there is a nub on there that makes it more elbowy. It still doesn't look human, but it's closer. And that's pretty much it for elbows. And for wrists, what I like and do not like is that there is an extra loop hook thing that attaches, that's actually cast into the wrist, which is then attached to an S-hook. Now, okay, what I don't like is that there's an extra metal thing, which means one extra part that could potentially break, which is, I have issues with things breaking. But it seems to have held up so far because it is cast right into the resin. There is no way to get that out. It's not a screw, it's definitely in there. Now what that does is it's a separate piece that's attached into her hand. Now I'm not sure how they go about making this, but this hook thing is like a socket. It moves around. I don't know if you can see, but it moves around within her hand. So when you move her hand, it kind of locks into place. So she has really good wrist movement due to that thing. She can go side to side as well. So arms, definitely excellent for jointing. And then for the torso, she has quite large breasts. These breasts actually, well, they come in 5 different sizes, I believe. There's A, B, C, D, and E. These are the E's. I did not choose these. I got this body on the marketplace, just so you know. So, for torso jointing, her back has 3 blocks. 1, 2, and 3. 3 is not really quite a lock, it's more of a disjoint, but there is blocking there. Kind of see that. So there's 3 forward, and then including her waist joint, which also goes forward, she can slouch quite a bit. Again, same as a spirit doll body, it does not look that nice, but it's fine with clothes on. Then for back, there's only one. Just one right there, which is fine, because this can move forward as well, so that's about the potential that she has to lean backwards. So This is normal, and that's not a whole lot, but oh. Now what I like about her torso is that it locks sideways, which is very, very unusual. None of the other dolls I own do this, but there's the same kind of ridging that's on her back that keeps the lock forward, also locks on her side, so she can lock like that in two positions. So you could have her leaning on her side, resting on her elbow, in some very natural poses, which is really, really nice. Not the easiest to work with when you've got clothes on her that are tight, but looser clothing and nude is pretty good for working with. So if you wanted to make her even more to the side, this waist joint can move side to side as well. So combining the two, she can almost do, she's in like a 45-degree angle there, which is quite severe for some of the dolls that are out there. Okay, and then for hip joints. Yes, I said hip joints. There is torso, waist, and hip. So there's this, and then this is the hip joint. Well, what the hip joint does is it locks out backwards. So this is normal, and then it locks out backwards, and what that does is it helps her sit. So similar to the normal body, with that, she has no trouble sitting up. She's got proper posture, which could be also changed if you were to add in her locking elsewhere. Without those though, what I have noticed is that she will fall down. So that's what those are designed for. For upper thighs, you've got your standard jointing here, and then you have like a reverse Soriko, like the Volks legs, that is inside, and what that does is you can move her legs without the hip. You can move her legs out like this. Now, I've never actually done this while posing her. I'm sure it could be useful, but it doesn't lock, so you would have to have her leaning on something to hold that pose, but it is quite useful and interesting because not a lot of dolls can do that. That's pretty much it for the thighs. Then for knees, Loongsoul bodies have really hardcore locking in their knees. So they are double jointed, and now this thing looks like a torture device. It's like the most severe looking knee joint you will ever see. Okay, so without using that knee joint, you get very average movement, of course. This would be the equivalent of a single jointed doll. And then with using it, you got one lock here, one lock here, and then a third lock here. So they will actually hold their legs up like that by themselves, which is really, really cool. And then of course to get it to unjoint, just push it one step farther and then it just unjoints itself, which is just pretty cool. Then that's pretty much it for knees. Now she does that on both sides, so you can get her into a kneeling position very easily, and she will hold that. And for ankles, you have two parts. There is your foot, and then there is a floating piece in here. What's interesting about the foot is there is a notch on there, and what that does is you can pop out the ankle and hold it so she can actually go. Okay, let's try her other foot. Okay, she can actually point her toes with just regular feet on. She does have high heel feet, which are the same, so I'm not going to show them to you. But she can actually point her toes with using that notch, which is really, really cool. All in all, resin is gorgeous, came completely sanded. Resin is very smooth. This body is getting to be a couple of years old now, so it is smooth partially from touching and then partially from resin. It's not the best quality resin ever, but it is average. It's nice. It's not like bulk's resin or something, but it's not bad. Again, but my only grief with this is the color of the resin, because this is personally not a white skin. It would be a semi-white skin. Anyway, hopefully this was of use to you. My apologies if I'm talking really quickly anywhere. It is a really good body, and I highly recommend it for anybody who is interested in really, really good posing. Anyway, so I'll see you guys soon.